Good morning. It's February 24th, and this is To My Liberal Friends. The economy is the thing that affects most of us, and things that we see every day. And inflation has been the one thing that has been constant throughout the Biden administration. When he came into office, inflation was running at 1.4%. It capped out almost at 9%, and Biden likes to tell everybody how it's gone down a little bit. But once again today, the inflation rate edged up a little bit, showing that it's not really going down like he wants it to go. He's tamed it a little bit, but he doesn't want to acknowledge that some of his programs actually are continuing to inflame the inflationary process by continuing to infuse money into the economy, money that we don't really have, just printing money and borrowing it. It causes more dollars in the economy, chasing few too goods, which means the prices go up. The Federal Reserve is going to look at this. They're going to say we're going to have to raise interest rates again. It might not even be 0.25%. It might be a whole 50 basis points, trying to calm things down. Consumer spending is still up. People are spending money because they have money. Why do they have money? Because the government kept infusing money into the economy. Pure and simple. We've got to find some way to tame it. So what's the impact on the average person? Well, I would suggest you take a look at your 401k. When Biden took office, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was somewhere around 37,000 points. Today it's down 32,000. That's a 5,000 point drop. That's about 12 to 14, between 12 and 14%, depending on how you look at it. That means your 401k is worth less, and your retirement savings are in jeopardy. And there seems to be no end to this with the programs that Biden and his compatriots in the Senate, the Democrats, want to spend money. And so we get to this debt limit crisis. And Republicans have said, we need to control spending in the future. Democrats act like they don't want to pay the bills that they've already paid. They know they're going to have to pay those bills, but there has to be some control on the level of spending. And if you don't think that's right, then I suggest you try spending like the federal government, run yourself into mountains of debt and see how fast you can get out from under it. And see how long people tolerate it. They won't. And the federal government shouldn't be allowed to just continue to spend money the way it wants. And I've suggested in the past there are multiple ways to cut spending, even in defense. We're going to have to look at entitlement programs, Social Security and Medicare. And if you think that those don't need to be reformed, you've got your head in the sand. Because as I said the other day, the CBO is now saying that Social Security will run out of funds by 2032, and they will have to cut benefits something like 23-24%. That's not going to go over very well with the public. And so we need to cut spending. We need to be reasonable. We need to negotiate. We need to sit down. You know, I was watching a show this morning where they were trumpeting the bipartisan efforts to combat AIDS 20 years ago. Well, they did come together and we did find some solutions. So what's wrong with compromising now? Having the president and the Democrats sit down with the Republican leadership in the House and say, here's where we're willing to cut spending. And both sides lay their plan out there. The Democrats keep saying to Republicans, lay your plan out there, but they don't show their plan either. They just want to continue to spend, and they want to tell people they're going to cut your Social Security and scare you. Well, that's not how it works. I spent 42 years working around the Congress, and it used to be that there was partisanship, but in the end, we sat down and figured out a solution to problems. My former boss, Senator Orrin Hatch, worked with Senator Ted Kennedy, a liberal Democrat, to achieve many legislative goals. We all remember Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill sitting down and talking things through. Well, what's wrong with Biden sitting down and starting to talk to people? Obama negotiated on the debt limit. Trump had to negotiate on the debt limit. But suddenly Biden says, I'm not going to negotiate because I did better in the midterms than I thought I was going to do, so now I'm going to do what I want to do. Well, if you're an American citizen out there, you need to start calling your congressman and say, hey, we need to negotiate and solve these problems in a bipartisan manner. They're not going away. Quit trying to score political points. Both sides need to sit down and work out the problems. This has been To My Liberal Friends. I appreciate your listening. If you enjoy the podcast, recommend it to your friends and hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Thank you.